My name is Bam, welcome to this video, and I have been on YouTube for a year and on Bookstagram for a year. That's weird. Honestly, surprised I managed to stick it out. So today I figured I would do a little bookshelf tour of my two little tiny units that I have in my bedroom. I started the channel with a bookshelf reorganisation, and I have gained many books since then, to the point where I have kind of run out of room and I really need to stop buying them, but I can't. My collection is a little bit bigger, and I have more books on the way because I have my third year starting in a couple of weeks. But I kind of wanted to do this as a little anniversary post and just to kind of share my sort of collection. I'm not gonna do the tour style that is like pulling out every single book because I don't have the patience for that, but I will just kind of talk about how I've organised them, because there is a specific reason that I have like sectioned my stuff off in the way that I have, and I'll talk about kind of each shelf and maybe like bring attention to certain books that I want to bring attention to, or certain like sections and decorations and things like that. So I want to keep this intro brief and I'll talk to you more at the end, but yeah, happy anniversary to this channel. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed so far, and if this is the first video that you're seeing from me, welcome. I hope you like it here. I hope you like the vibe. I do reading vlogs, and going into my third year I'm going to be talking a lot about my university and finally like getting through my last year of my English degree, and I'm really hoping that I can talk a lot more about my writing at some point, because I've been doing that for so long. I think I will be on by next year, next February. I think it will be my 10-year anniversary of writing consistently, which is insanity, and I really hope to kind of talk more about my original projects, and just kind of like, yeah, I really want to finish one of my original projects at some point in the near future, so I want to share that with you as well. But we'll see what the new year brings, I suppose. And yeah, let's get into this tour. Okay, so to start with, I'm gonna briefly go over like this pile that's like not on my shelves, because pretty much these are all like current reads that I'm likely to pick up, current reads that I need to get through. This is specifically for a video, I've talked about it before. And then reads that I have started and need to get back to, but I also don't have the space on my shelf to shelf them again, so they're out here. They are on a Fairy Loot box. This is from the March box, which was my first box. I don't have a subscription anymore because I can't afford it right now, but I kept my first box, and I have all these book sleeves I need to get rid of, but my current reads are kind of piled on top of here. So that's Pandora, Iron Widow, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Pegasus and the Flame, The School for Good and Evil, which the movie is coming out this year and I'm so excited. I'm going to be insufferable when this film comes out. And then a recent buy, which came in with a university purchase that I made, All That's Left in the World. It's got a really floppy spine and I really like the colours. I need to pick a tab colour scheme for it. But I'm planning on sort of starting this tonight, which is why it's on my currently reading pile, along with my two middle grades that I'm rereading, and then these books that I will get back to eventually. I just don't have the energy right now, so that's sitting over here at the moment. Next, we're going to look at this shelf, which I basically dub as my main shelf, because it's got, the breakdown of shelves is favourites, fantasy, which is my favorite genre, and manga and graphic novels. So I will sort of go over these. I'm sorry if my hand is a little bit unsteady with my phone. I do not have the patience to move around my holder arm thing. So let's start with my favorites shelf. So we've got this little Strange the Dreamer little pin that I got out of a Fairy Loot box. I've never actually read Strange the Dreamer, but the cover is really pretty and that pin is really nice. We also have some little page tabs up here that I've tucked away, which is Sting page flags, which are really funky. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, so they're just living up there right now on top of my Dreamcatcher albums. Between my Dreamcatcher albums and the last book in the School for Good and Evil series are all of the art prints that I have gotten from Fairy Loot boxes that I did get. And then there's this little Captain America shield stress toy thing and a little trinket box, both of which my parents got for me. So yeah, on this shelf is, as I said, favorites. So we have Tolkien. My copy of The Hobbit is actually on top of my printer, which I'm not going to show you because that is an absolute mess right now and I don't need you to judge me, because you've already seen the state of the top of my bookshelves. So we've got all of like my little Tolkien books, including my 2 other editions of The Hobbit that I own. We've got The Song of Achilles, which I plan to reread at some point because I really, really want to annotate it. Because I did read this for university in my first year and I loved it. And then of course we've got the rest of my School for Good and Evil series that has this little gap for the first one, which I'll shove in there. And then of course Dreamcatcher albums. And then over here we have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which I have a whole reading vlog for if you haven't watched that. And tucked behind are my journals. I have many journals, and 3 of them, well, 6 of them are out actually, because back here is literally just, this is unused but I'm reserving it for my next reading journal. This is my language learning journal, and that's my video games journal. That completely fell off, that's fine. So yeah, that's my favorites shelf. And then moving down we have my fantasy, which is like broken up into hardback, paperback, and then primarily sort of sorted by colour-ish. We have this little guy, which is a little Winnie the Pooh toy thing, and he's just in this little bee mug. I've had this guy since first year of uni, bought him as decoration, and he sat on my shelves there, so he's sitting on my shelves now. On top we also have this trinket dish that I don't know what to do with at the moment, so it's just sitting in its box. And then we've got this little Dumbo model, a May pop figure, because she was one of my mains in Overwatch, but I mostly main Mercy. And then deck of cards, also from Fairy Loot. So then we have this sort of stack, which is not in colour order anymore, it's mostly in size. So Beasts and Beauties here, but I might move it up later, but it's just here because it fits here. Still have to finish that one. I think I got like halfway through and then I dropped it. Started it, got through like a chapter, stopped reading. Same with this one. This one is also a recent pickup, and these 2 are middle grade books, which I don't have the rest of the series for, but I am planning to do a reread because I'm just in the mood for middle grade at the moment. And then over here we have some Fairy Loot editions of Blood Scion, The Stardust Thief, and This Vicious Grace. These are all really pretty. Fairy Loot does a really nice job with their hardcovers. And then we have the Realmbreaker series, which is on my TBR, and I plan to read them at the same time. I just don't know when. Over here we have Heavenly Bodies, which is something that I also did a reading vlog for. It was the first book that I like really sat down and like tabbed in detail, and the cover for Fallen Stars just dropped, and it's so pretty. I'm so excited for the sequel for this. And then we have pretty much, I have read none of these. I'm terrible about how many books I own that I've not read. I've not read any of these. I plan to do a reading vlog of me reading these 2 because my flatmate actually bought me these for my birthday 2 years ago and I've not read them. So yeah, that's the plan. This is also a Fairy Loot edition, which is really, really pretty. This, my friend Gwen got me for my birthday this year. And then obviously we've got these guys, which that's sort of the fantasy shelf. And then down here is sort of like my favorite little area. I wish I could have put it higher, but my basic plan is when I move, I want to get bigger bookshelves, and then I'm going to turn both this and the shelf on the side here into purely manga shelves, because I'm basically playing jigsaw with everything down here, and I've thrown so many just trinkets on this. I have this little book sleeve, Carol from The Walking Dead, my favorite character, I love her. Oh, and Rosita, whose pigtail has fallen off, as well as Luigi. I don't know why Luigi's down here, but he's thriving. We have another little stress ball, a little Hyrule shield. This one's a lot stiffer than the Captain America shield, which, yeah. This little hedgehog that my friend made for me. This guy, who I bought years ago, and yeah, he's existing. Just a pack of Digimon trading cards because I have nowhere to put them right now, and then just some little trinkets up there, including some Uncharted cards, Ariados, an Ariados rock because he's my favorite boy, and then we have my manga. So, well, plus my graphic novels. The Walking Dead are pretty much the only graphic novels I own at the moment, and they're in these massive compendiums. I've gotten halfway through the first one, and I do want to carry on. Sophia's my favorite character, by the way. I love her. We have my card captors, collector's editions, 1 to 3. We have all of the Tokyo ESP volumes. I'm on volume 3, hence why it's sticking out like this. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I read this and this recently. I posted like mini reviews on my stories, so they're in my highlights now if you do want to go and check them out. We've got 7 Deadly Sins, which I think I need to read volume 4 and 5 of. Fairy Tail, Tokyo Ghoul, my Ruby manga, and then my art book of Uncharted 4, because Uncharted is my favorite game series, and I love just looking at that because I don't own a PlayStation, so I can't replay the games at the moment when I'm away. So this, you know, and watching playthroughs on YouTube. I love watching people blind play through my favorite games. So that's this shelf. I hope that wasn't too fast paced. I'm a really fast talker when I know what I'm talking about. So yeah. And then we have this shelf, which is my not main shelf. This is kind of where I put a lot of my extras, plus my classics, which they're on the top because I'm more likely to reach for them than I am sort of anything else, except for my little Pegasus books. But we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. Over here we have uni-related books. This is from an assignment that I did. This is also from a module. These are all uni books that I kept because I figured they would be most likely to be reread. We have I think they're the Twisted Tales series, of which I have only read this one, but I own all of these, and I do plan to read them, but they're on this bottom shelf because I'm less likely to pick them up than I am kind of anything else on my bookshelf at the moment. And then Daisy Jones is just here because this was the only place where I could fit it, and also it matches with sort of more of the like genres that are down here. Down here, these little base genres are in colour order as well as height because this guy is tall. But we have When Hitler Stole the Pink Rabbit, which I read for an assignment as well. This was recommended to me by a tutor that I had, and I really liked it. It's really, really good. Everything, which this is my copy that I've owned since like 2015. It's like the first and only sort of like contemporary like YA romance that I ever read. And then of course we have The Love Hypothesis, which was part of my first reading vlog, and then a couple more books that I read for assignments. This is the only poetry collection that I like own, and as much as I dislike Carol Ann Duffy and the like 8-page poem that's in this, I keep it because it's from my A-levels and it has loads of my annotations in it, so it's kind of sentimental. And then of course Red, White and Royal Blue, and then we have kind of this little collection over here. It's tucked away. So we move up, we have these little tarot cards by Fairy Loot. All of these are of, I think, these Hollow Vow? No? That duology. You know the one I'm talking about. One I've never read, but I own these, so I stuck them up. The ones from Dora the Moon Goddess are here, which, again, I will probably realise who these people are when I've actually read the book, but I have the decoration, so I figured I might as well put them up. On this shelf we have this little thing. I think it's like a tea holder, but I don't drink tea, so he's here. He's also here. But this shelf, we've got this little like tea light holder, which I will use a lot in autumn, probably in October. I'll stick a little electric candle in there, and then this little guy. So over here we have my little Ruby novels. I've only read After the Fall, but these two came out, I don't know when, but I bought them at the same time, and I do want to get around to reading them. We have Daughter of the Pirate King, which is in like the original paperback, and now I can't get Daughter of the like Siren Queen in this same paperback, which is really annoying. So I haven't read this yet. I don't know if the fact that I can't get the sequel in the same paperback is putting me off, but I haven't read it yet. So we have a bit more fantasy. Pretty much the rest of the shelf is like misc fantasy fiction dystopia sort of stuff. So Arrow to the Moon, Cruel Prince, Warcross, Curse So Dark and Lonely, Circe. Again, a lot of these books might shift around if I find myself like really liking them, because like my favorite shelf is pretty much for like my favorite authors and like my like significant books. So if any of these ever get like 5 stars, they'll be moved, but they're over here because they don't really fit with my other fantasy shelf, so they're over here. Of course we have the rest of my Pegasus series, of which the only one I haven't read is this one. I don't think there's a 6th. I really hope there's not. And then we have my Maze Runner series. The 2, Mortal Engines books that I own, also of which I've not read. And then Game of Thrones, this whole set, which I got. Oh, and To Kill a Kingdom is hiding up here. I forgot I'd put that there because I couldn't fit it anywhere else. But I do plan to read Game of Thrones at some point, but I have owned these books since like 2015, so don't rush me. And then we move up to the final shelf, which is my classics. We have this little fella and this little bobblehead, both of which I have had for years. So I've pretty much sorted this by like edition and then roughly publish date and like age and stuff. Obviously over here this is just like because it's the tallest. This is something that I bought for uni, but it's like literally a bunch of classic fairy tales, and I figured I'd keep it for book research purposes. And then we have a bunch of Shakespeare plays in the Wordsworth editions, which is what these all are. We've got Penguin and then Collins over here, and then Misc classic editions. So we've got Shakespeare plays, of which you can tell Othello is the most read of all of them, but Othello is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. I will admit that. I loved analysing it and I loved reading it, and I did my whole, like, the best essay that I wrote in first year was on Othello, so yeah, love that. We've got a couple of extra little ones, another couple that I did read for uni, Charles Dickens. This I have to read for uni this year, so I have to start that at some point. Again, with sort of like older ones, you can tell that Gatsby is the one that was read the most, not just by the tabs, but by the spine. Gatsby is sort of one of those books that I like from an analytical standpoint. I really enjoy Gatsby, and I will put that back in the shelf later because I'm not fiddling with that. Sort of transitioning my Wordsworth to my Penguin is Jules Verne, which if you've watched and like my book haul from my birthday, I got all of these for my birthday. Then we have Homer with the Iliad and the Odyssey. Christina Rossetti is I lied when I said this Feminine Gospels was the only poetry collection, because I did forget that I had bought Christina Rossetti's poems, because Christina Rossetti is one of the only poets that I like. I love Christina Rossetti's poetry. Thank you. And this Northanger Abbey copy is actually one that I bought secondhand, so that's why it's really beat up, because I haven't actually like read a good chunk of this, even though I did have to read it for uni. So and then we've got Dracula and the Picture of Dorian Gray, read for uni, but haven't read yet. And then we have War of the Worlds and Aesop's Fables. This copy of Aesop's Fables I did buy for uni, because the one that I grew up with was like a picture book that my mum had. And then this is like an edition that I bought for A-levels when I was doing my coursework on it. And then in this little pile we have not technically classics, but classics for me. I bought this copy of Tell Peter Rabbit I bought for uni. I had to do it for my children's course. And then this copy of Fantastic Mr. Fox is for anybody in the UK that remembers when cereal had things in them. I got this from a box of cereal and I have owned it ever since. It's got my name in it. It's beat up and I love this book. This is one of the earliest books I can remember really reading. And yeah, this, one of the most impactful children's books that I ever read. It really did just solidify sort of my love of reading. And then we have The Railway Children and Alice in Wonderland in the, I don't remember which editions these are, but they are really, really pretty. There's a lot of like gold in it. The Railway Children is another book that I remember really vividly reading. And yeah, so that's that. We've got Agatha Christie, which I put up here because the colour matched with the Penguin Modern Classics, of which I have 2 Arthur Miller plays because he's a really good playwright. We have 1984, which I, again, have had since A-levels because I did some coursework on it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is one of the best modern classics I've ever read. I really, really like it. This I read for A-levels and I have like littered it with annotations. I really, really like this book. And then I have Atlas Shrugged, which is like the longest book I own, and I do plan to read it, but it's kind of like everybody reading War and Peace and Crime and Punishment. This is my big one. So yeah, and then we have Clothbound Classics, War of the Worlds that my flatmate bought for me, because the War of the Worlds is one of like my favourite sort of books. Hand of the Baskervilles, which I bought for uni, and then Pride and Prejudice, which is one of my favourite like Austen novels. So yeah. So that was my little bookshelf tour. I do apologise if my voice got absolutely disgusting by the end. It does that when I talk for too long. I also do apologise if I went a little bit quickly. I don't own a whole lot of books in comparison to like other people, and like what I do own I haven't read a lot of because brain doesn't like to function a lot of the time. So I shared kind of what I could and what I wanted to, and yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video anyway. I don't really watch bookshelf tours very often. I'm more of a reading vlog kind of person, so yeah. Happy anniversary to this channel. Subscribe if you would like, and also follow me on Instagram here. I try and post more frequently on there than I do here because making videos takes a lot of time, and when I'm not reading a lot, it takes more for me to like get reading vlogs out there and other stuff like that. If there's any videos that you would like to see or any books that you would like to recommend me, do so in the comments. Or if you think I should push up some of the books that I haven't read on this bookshelf to the top of my TBR, also let me know. And yes, I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video, which should hopefully be next week. Hopefully, if my uni book orders come in on time. But yeah, thank you. Bye.